Yo, VC, what's up? Bob here. Today we're talking Record Store Day 2022. That's right, it happens on April the 23rd this year. We're also going to get into the June 18th drop. That's right, there's some turmoil going on in the world, and as a result, some of the records have been pushed back. I'm going to give you my general impressions of the list and my top 3 picks. So let's get into it. This year there's an enormous amount of titles. Almost 400, everything from Nicki Minaj to Tiny Tim. There's a Taylor Swift 7-inch, a Red Hot Chili Peppers record, some very popular releases like the Rolling Stones' Hot Rocks, and Stevie Nicks' Belladonna. I'm sure a lot of people will be lining up early to get some of these. There's a lot of fantastic jazz, punk, and reggae releases, surprisingly, and I think it's going to be a great record store day. All right, let's get into my top 3 picks for Record Store Day. I will most definitely be picking up Alice in Chains' 12-inch single of We Die Young. It is limited to 14,350 copies. It's $15, and it is on black vinyl. It originally was released as a promo in 1990, before the release of Alice in Chains' debut record, Facelift. If you don't have this record, you should just, on Record Store Day, instead of going over there and grabbing We Die Young off the wall, go over to the racks, flip through them, and find this. This was recently reissued, and this is a great pressing of the record. It sounds phenomenal. It is on black vinyl and currently available for purchase. You need this. This is the full record with Man in the Box, We Die Young, etc. Very good. That said, the We Die Young 12-inch single is a very, very expensive record to find the original pressing of. So, it's a bit of a collectible, and if you're a big Chains fan, you probably need it. It is remastered by Bob Ludwig, so it should sound incredible. Next, the Jazz Dispensary. They put out these fantastic compilations every year, and I do collect them. This year, they're putting out one called the Super Skunk, and it is on opaque red vinyl and limited to 3,500 copies. It is $30. Now, in the past, they've put out some very cool ones. This is maybe last year's, the Dank D-Funk Volume 2. Yeah, very good. This is Volume 1. Look at this. This is amazing. This was the purple, I think it's like called the Purple Funk or something like that. They're always on these cool colored variants, swirls and splatters and translucence and whatnot. And they're usually curated by someone who works in a record store. And they're very good. I'm a big fan of these releases, and I would definitely be picking this one up. Sometimes they're hard to get. I may have to resort to an online strategy. My number 1 pick for this year's Record Store Day is Art Pepper Meets the Rhythm Section. It's one of the best releases on the Contemporary label, and it has Paul Chambers and Philly Joe Jones on the record. It's fantastic. This is a mono, tip-on jacket. I think Bernie Grundman mastered this. It's $33.99. It's on black vinyl, of course. It's not unlike last year's Quiet Kenny. That's right. This was fantastic and my number 1 pick of 2021. Also mono, also tip-on jacket. Maybe Kevin Gray did this one. Yep. Kraft does this from time to time. The Chet Baker releases, fantastic. Same deal. The source material is from the tapes. The presentation is spot on. Nice jacket. Good pressing. You can't go wrong. I have to have this release. When I come through that door, I will have probably already located. I will peer through the window before the doors open. I will figure out where it is located. And as I come through that door, I will beeline right to this Art Pepper release, hopefully. Beyond my top three, there are some other releases that I am interested in. One being the Pearl Jam Live on Two Legs. It's a very hard record to get original pressing of. It's incredibly expensive to find one, and unfortunately, this is one of the titles that have been pushed back to June 18th, which is fine. It gives us all something to do in June, but it is limited to 20,600 copies. It's on clear vinyl. It's $40. I will definitely be getting that in June. There's a Prince release in June, The Gold Experience. This is the first record when Prince became the artist formerly known as Prince, or The Symbol, right? This is just like the original promo that came out. It's on translucent gold vinyl. This is going to be limited to 24,150 copies and is $34. It's been pushed back, but I do plan to get that. So I think that's a very solid release. Also a very expensive record to source an original pressing. Another title that I am interested in that will be available in April is Corinne Bailey Rae's The Sea. I'm a big Corinne Bailey Rae fan, and I do have this record digitally, and it's quite good. This one is on transparent blue vinyl and limited to 3,000 copies. It is $31. There's several cool punk rock releases. There's some Richard Hell involved things. There's a GBH release. There's a Ramones box set that is massive. There's some cool comps like this one. Go Ahead Punk, Make My Day. Yeah, I've had this since the 90s. A lot of Offspring and AFI on this. Some Guttermouth. This is on a spectacular looking piece of vinyl. Orange splatter. It's limited to 5,000 copies. $26. If I didn't have it on CD, I would probably pick it up. There's a Damned release, Strawberries. It's very good. Limited to 1,800 copies. That's not a lot, folks. It is $40 and is on pink and red swirl vinyl. That's a good record. It's not crazy expensive to find an OG, but one of the points of interest is it is strawberry scented. And I thought that needed to be brought up. That's pretty cool. Another cool release that I thought deserved a mention is this craft recording release of Flash and the Dynamics, the New York sound. It's $30. It's on purple vinyl. It's limited to 2,500 copies. This is kind of a Latin soul rock record. It's pretty good. Somewhere it can get fuzzy at times, but it also has kind of a Creedence vibe at times. It's a pretty good funky little record to have. Just an interesting release that caught my eye. The Blue Velvet soundtrack is finally getting released. They talked about releasing it on Black Friday. It didn't happen. It's finally coming out. I could walk out with that. I do like that. There's a little Roy Orbison on there. There's a Tiny Tim release with Brave Combo. Brave Combo was a polka band. I believe my wife definitely seen the band many times. This is basically an album of covers, a lot of iconic tunes like Stairway to Heaven. Tiny Tim doing his thing. That's kind of a weird and cool release. I know what you're all thinking. Bob, what about the Bill Evans releases? There are two. Bill Evans' Morning Glory and Bill Evans' Inner Spirit. Both of these are live shows, limited to 4,000 copies, and they are $57.99 each. That is unfortunately a grand total of $115.98 just for the two Bill Evans releases. An aside, the releases are a little more expensive this year. Vinyl prices have been going up, and Record Store Day is no exception. This is probably the most expensive Record Store Day I've ever seen. There are some cool box sets. I mentioned earlier the Ramones box set, right? It's very good. It's limited to 10,000 copies. This is probably going to be around in your record store for a while. So if you don't get it on Record Store Day, I don't think you have to worry too much. It's probably going to be available. It's $175. It's a 7 LP set from 81 to 89 era of the Ramones. Some of those are hard to get. So if you want to just take that whole period out all in one fell swoop, this is not a bad way to go. One of the cool things about it is it's on a neon pink splatter, which is very Ramones. That is kind of cool. Another box that is coming out is the Grateful Dead Wembley 72. You know, it's 150 bucks. It's limited to 8,000 copies. It's a 5 LP set. I probably will not get that. I love the Grateful Dead. I'm a huge Grateful Dead fan. I just can't buy a $150 box set every time there's a record store day. That's insane. I have a massive amount of these shows digitally and on bootleg tapes and everything else. There is a Doors LA Woman Sessions coming out. It is limited to 11,000 copies. It's $90. It's a 4 LP set. It's probably pretty cool. I love the Doors. I have all their studio albums, etc., etc. I've bought some of these Doors record store day things in the past. They're usually pretty good. Probably be collectible in the future. That said, I only have so much money, folks. That's pretty much all the things I had interest in. Yeah, there's some jazz stuff, a lot of live shows. There's some punk stuff. There's a lot of reggae stuff. I did the math, and if I bought everything that I had interest in, it would be well over $1,000. But that said, the important thing is to get out there, support your local record store, and buy some records. You know, this is a hard time for everybody, and we need to make sure that these brick and mortar stores survive. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend, leave some comments down below, and until we meet again, folks, that's right. Bob out.